All right, it has started.
All right. So then, before we get started with our questions, how has everyone's week been, like with your math instruction?
What have you been doing, Olivia, with this? I say it's not your week before break; it's my week before break.
Yeah, we don't get fall break in Hall County, so.
Oh, bless. Oh yeah, ours has been
We get October.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Y'all don't get a fall break?
No, we do not.
We're already getting off topic. No, Hall County and Gainesville City have very minimal breaks.
Yeah.
But they end summer earlier than us.
Mm-hmm.
And they start later than us. So there are slight benefits. But yes, with fall break coming up, math instruction has been a little bit harder, at least the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Last week went really well. We wrapped up multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. And when I looked at assessment data, almost everyone minus and out of my SPED, I 4 SPED, 2 got like a 50, and my other 2 SPED passed. So that's good.
Wow, that's really great.
I know. I was like, woo, we're getting it. And then I got my grades up right here. I felt good about it. I was like, okay, they understood.
Yeah.
And then I was able to do my math. I'll get back to the math movement lesson related to powers of 10. It worked really well. I was a little worried, okay, I have this unit due, and I was like, will it fit well to what we're currently learning in class, or am I going to have to go way outside the box? And luckily, it was not hard to come up with a math and movement lesson related to what we're doing, but we'll get to that later. But I would say it's been pretty successful. The kids have been grasping things really well. Behaviors have been a little crazy yesterday and today, but
yeah. All right, what about you, Libby?
This week's gone pretty well. We're learning about fractions right now. And they're doing them much better than I thought they would. Because sometimes fractions can just be so hard, and they'll look at it and just be clueless. Which I will say, I have a EI teacher come in and pull some kids in my second block, and she's like, those kids look like they've never seen a fraction before. But everybody else seems like they're doing well on it. I'm really excited because next week we have a quiz on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we're kind of not off, but we kind of get to do our own things. Mm-hmm. So that's when I'm going to put in my math movement and all that.
Yeah. I love this unit because math and movement, being a special education classroom, I'm
yeah. When I saw
movement, I'm I'm so excited for this.
Oh, I know. I bet and there's so many things you can do with what you were talking about, them counting, doing all those things. And I was reading
it. Everything they do is movement already. So it's technically already just small, implemented already kind of.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot of the music and stuff like that too. Music, the videos, and it'll be songs too. So
oh, I bet. Yeah, they're going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, they do. So now we're doing counting by skip counting by 2s, 5s, and 10s.
Nice. And there was a lot of skip counting ideas with the Dr. Susie one with the whisper, and then you were louder or clap or arms up, or I mean, she did all kinds of different things. But for the skip counting thing, so they're gonna love that. Oh, I made a note back in my notes. I got my first observation done by my principal, so that's nice. Got that done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good.
Nice, right? And that was during one of my powers of 10 lessons. So I was like, all right, cool. And I haven't even looked on Teaks to see if I did well, but I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, yeah. And then we're also about to get a curriculum finally for SPED.
Okay.
So excited.
Yes, that's always nice.
We'll finally know what we're going to be doing.
And you're not inventing everything yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty much.
Sarah, what is your curriculum called? Because I was talking to somebody about y'all's curriculum today.
For math, we just use the Georgia DOE units. Okay. So you find everything on Georgia Inspire through the suitcase, or I mean, I'd have to open up exactly how to get to all the units, but it's the Georgia made units. So the same people that make the milestones tests.
They were they use from the test, and I was like, yes, it's the same people.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's no way. Yeah.
And it's free. I'm not even kidding. It's a free curriculum. Is it always perfect? No. Do I pick and choose? Sort of.
It gives you more guidance at least.
It gives me a lot more guidance, and the questions are hard. Like the rigor is intense, and I feel like they're going to be better prepared. Like it was a bit of a learning shock for them as well as myself. And it's not always super hands-on, and it doesn't allow for small groups. So I have to like, but their lessons, it'll say like, this takes 1 to 2 days. And so I typically split it between 2 days so that I can do half of what they suggest one of the days and then have possible time for small groups or whatever else I need to do. And then the other half of the lesson the next day. Like we're doing metric measurement right now. So we did powers of 10 last week. We're doing metric measurement this week, which they follow right into each other. I don't know if Livy, you've gotten into any of that yet this year. You've done so much in math. I hope you haven't yet.
Yes, we've done that. That was our first unit.
Okay. And were your kids pretty successful with that? Because it's such a like simple concept.
Yes, we've done that. We haven't converted with the not metric, but the customary where it's different. We haven't done that.
Okay. So Eureka does not have yours back to back. Okay. So the Georgia State units has them back to back. It does powers of 10 and it builds into metric because that's in the same, powers of base 10 system. And then the week after fall break, because I have all week next week off, but the week after fall break, we'll go into customary measurement. And then they're like, be done, move on. So doing measurement all in 2 weeks, I'm like, that's a lot because measurement's always hard for them. But what about you? Hannah, things pretty good. They well behaved.
Yeah. Actually, so I was able to I implemented the number line, to do with adding numbers, and we did it on the little white they were whiteboard strips, so they can write on the number line and and then do it. So that was really cool. So they would have to write the problem under it. So I'd be 5 plus 7. And so then I'd say, okay, let's start at 5 and then use the number line to go up 7. And one of the kids was like, this is really fun. I like this. And I'm like,
number lines can be tricky, but I think it's a good tool.
Yeah, that made my day because it's oh my gosh, they really they said this is fun. This is so fun.
It's always nice when they enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah. Yes. And they were really understanding it too. They were really so.
I'm nervous to come up with a way to implement movement with fractions.
Yeah, we can get to that as it.
Yeah, I know that's later on.
Well, maybe you can do it as in 2 out of 4 kids
Oh yeah,
or something, and then show them hey, this is this hat
What fractions is such a big unit in 5th grade. What part have you done and what's coming up?
We have done right now. We're doing adding and subtracting and finding denominators.
Common denominator.
Oh yeah, that is
rough. And with
because I keep thinking about a number line and doing the whisper counting, and then when you get to a whole kind of go louder. But I'm like, they already know that, so it wouldn't really be teaching it. It would be more of a review.
Are you going to continue to do that coming next week?
Yes. Yeah. We did models today and yesterday, and then Friday and Monday we do them without models. So it's just how you're multiplying.
So you're going into least common denominator.
Yes.
You could use the Dr. Susie whispering. Well, that's not. Is that physical? I guess it is if you do the different arm motions or them.
Yes.
Physical skip count to find the common denominator.
Yeah, that is.
Do you have chalk? Do you have I did one of my lessons was out. Went out on the blacktop and did chalk. So I was thinking with common denominator, so they have to give each doom in groups, give each other, give them each the fractions that they're adding, and then they have to write out the multiples of that number and just go for a while, and then their partner jump until they land on the factor, or that's a multiple, not a factor, the multiple that's the same.
I like that.
Yeah.
So if it's I don't know, 24, and you're counting by threes, and you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, but they will write it out further. And then the other kid, if it's eights, would be 8, 16, 24, 30, you know, and then
Yes.
jump until there's match. I'm trying to think how they would. And then I missed the number of jumps is how many times they then multiply their numerator to get it to.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
see where I'm going? I could be like
Yeah.
wrong with the like.
Yeah.
I could think on it more too, but that's what.
And that's what I'm glad about, like having those Thursday, Friday kind of flex days, because I can kind of pull out what are we going to learn about after fall break and try to go into that if I need to.
Yeah. Does
Have it
yours
like that.
land pretty well where you can wrap up on something and you don't have to like continue it after a week off of school? Or do you have a full week?
We have a full week and we are going to have to continue it, but I don't know. It's like going into a different topic.
A little bit
So
different.
there's like 4 topics, 4 fractions, and I haven't looked at the last topic.
Gotcha.
Alright. I think okay. So then, were there anything that y'all wanted that you guys could have done better with your lessons this week? I feel like we kind of. I guess like what y'all could have done better.
Right. I did have some, no matter how much direct instruction of like, it could be like hand over hand of this is how you move the decimal. This is why, I mean, understanding larger unit, smaller unit. Hope Hannah's still there. She glitched. There she is.
Yeah, my computer is freezing. This might be a problem. Like
They just needed more practice. And so I have a student teacher in my room right now. And so at one point last week, for like 3 of the days, I was able to have a group. My student teacher was able to have a group, and my co-teacher was able to have a group. So we were like really getting into small groups and able to push it further for those that needed to. But I almost in the moment was like, how else do I explain this for you to understand? How are we still not getting it? That was frustrating. And then I tried the movement lesson with the ones that were still like, I don't get it, like physically on this butcher paper where and I guess I don't need to talk about it later if I talk about it now, since we're saying like what to improve on. But that finally clicked for them.
Okay.
But I remember in the moment just being like, this is simple. You're either dividing, making something smaller or larger and moving the decimal that many spaces. I mean, they all of them quickly understood powers of 10 is like 10 times 10, so it has 2 zeros, or 10 to the third power has 3 zeros. Like all of them were fine with that. And really by the time we continue to practice in small groups, like I said, very few kids didn't do well when it came to the assessment. So I can't complain too much. I feel like it's been successful overall. So I don't have major areas that I'm struggling in.
Yeah. I'll say one struggle I had, I didn't look at one of my lessons before I taught it on Wednesday. Oh, I dropped the ball. I was like stumbling up there, like all this. And it was so weird how it explained it. It was using like a tape diagram to show how you can convert like 2/3 into 4/6. So then you could subtract it.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
like,
I see. Yeah.
Explaining that, and luckily they must have had really good 4th grade teachers because it made sense to them.
But you're like, this
so
doesn't make
funny.
sense to me. Yes.
Yes.
100%. Yeah, no, I've been in that boat before where you just put things on your plate and you're like, I got this. I totally know what I'm teaching tomorrow. And then you're up there and you're like, I should have looked deeper into it.
Yeah.
I should practice more.
I should have better understood what I was going into, for sure.
I'm like, I should have, yeah.
I feel like one of my struggles is like, trying to like implement lessons without like overstepping like the main teacher in the classroom, or like without messing up the kids, because they're all about routine. If I mess up the routine, the whole day's gonna be ruined. It's gonna be disaster for the whole day, because it's like for those kids, it's like any change is like what's going on, like what is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be hard to find that right balance.
But I guess like with the music, it kind of helps, like at least a little bit. Like maybe I could just teach them a song and like just do something little, like little movements, because that's still like movement. Like
yeah.
It's almost like you would have to start doing it every single day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if you can. Have you talked to the lead teacher about this assignment you have coming up?
No, I have not yet.
I would bring it up to her because Livy is right. Because mine like will swing with it. I'm like, I literally was like, hey guys, normally we're doing this, but listen, we're going to go outside and do this because I'm trying out something new that my professor's teaching me. They know I'm in school. And they're like, all right, cool. Like, they don't even think anything of it. But like, you're right. If you try to mix it up, they might be like, huh? What's going on?
I mean, like a couple. Maybe I could do it with a couple of them and be like, "Hey, let's just do this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did with
Like,
my first
and I will
lesson.
I'll
It
probably just be
wasn't-
like, "Hey, I have to do this for an assignment. Like, please help me out."
Yeah, I know. That's what I did with my first one because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be out of town the week it's due. Like, what? And so I was like scrambling to get it all done.
'Cause
But
when is- that's next week, isn't it?
it's next weekend, but I'm gone all week, so I wouldn't have students.
Oh, it's
this
like
this
2
coming
weeks.
It's due.
Not next week, but the week after. Like on
Yeah,
a
it's due like not this
Wednesday.
coming weekend, but the following
Why-
weekend.
Why on a Wednesday? It's on the 8th, right?
No, it should be on the 5th. It should
Or
be.
5th. Oh yeah.
This is Sunday. But like I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I won't have students all next week. So I was able to remediate with a smaller group when it came to one of the lessons. Originally, like I wrote it for it to be like a whole class lesson. But at that point,
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta do this for remediation with my small group. And then the once we'd already because we were already starting to go into metric measurement and stuff. And I was like, how would I come up with 2 different movement lessons on the same topic? That's hard too. As I was realizing, and I think Olivia's probably trying to come up with stuff too. It's like, if you're still on the same topic, how do I come up with 2 different lessons that aren't too similar? Because she wants to like, careful, their lessons aren't too similar. So I was a little stressed out about that. But I think, I mean, I'll tell you guys what I did, and I've already submitted everything with the pictures and the reflections. So like, I hope it's good, Dr. Chang, if you're watching. I tried my best.
That's so funny.
I mean, I was like, I'm going to the beach, guys. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna plan it. But I do feel like it fit well with what we were learning, and it was nice that like I could do one on powers of 10 and one on metric, and it be 2 different topics, and get it all done before I had to go. But
Yeah, I guess like one of the benefits of my classroom is like we can do something like every day basically because I guess like because mine is adding within 20 and then the second one or the first one is like skip counting by 2s, 5s, and 10s and then adding within 20.
I feel like yours is gonna be the easiest to plan, Hannah,
Yeah.
because of what you guys are doing. And like, because I was reading through that big manual, Dr. Susie stuff, I was like, how do I change this to be older kid stuff? Because it was like all kinds of fun motions, and I was like,
It's like, what grade do you teach again? I'm sorry.
we both teach 5th. Hi, kitty.
Oh yeah, those kids don't want to like.
Not doing little baby stuff. They're too cool for school. Yeah, 100%.
Mine will either think they're too cool or just like lose their mind over the smallest things.
Like at least my kids are like, we get to move around.
Yeah, like, this sounds fun.
And go crazy probably too, but
Mhm.
at least they'll be excited about it. All right, so let's see. So then, I guess we already talked about like new ideas for guidance. So then we'll do math and movement. So then, what is kinesthetic learning or movement-based learning? I feel like it just like the article that I looked like, the first article, what's it called? What is kinesthetic learning article? It gave us like a definition for it, but in my mind, when I heard it, it's like movement, like like implement, like just using movement, like to teach.
Mm-hmm.
That's what like I get from it, because like kinesthetic movement, like.
Yeah, I know. It was like, wait, just want us to put that in our own words, I guess. I wrote a style of learning where students learn new information through physical activity and movement.
Yeah. And she's just really big about the making sure it's new content.
Right. Yeah. New information.
Teaching, not reviewing. We read a book for one of my classes, and it talked a lot about that, how the difference between. Sorry, I had the 6, 7 thing. I talk with my hands way too much, and my kids hate me for it. But yeah, just the difference of how you can move and you can be reviewing, but there's a difference between teaching the new concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll use your add or multiply and divide.
Mm-hmm.
I used that as my example the last time I had to do a discussion like this.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I saw you write it, I was like, well, I'm not going to type that.
And I used it as part of my math and movement because we were doing measurement
Mhm.
conversions,
Mhm.
and the thing we ended up doing seemed somewhat similar to the other one I was doing. So I was like, we went inside and then did that, and I was like, that's different enough. Surely between that and that, she can't claim the lessons are too similar because I didn't have enough time to be like, is this good with you? I just went out with my instinct. I was like, you know what, we're gonna say this is good, and it went well. So
Yeah.
but it was interesting. I was talking to I do these virtual workouts with this trainer lady that I pay. And of course she's all into physical exercise and everything, and she knows I'm a teacher. And so we were talking about, she always asks, how am I doing? Are you stressed? Are you doing, I'm like, yeah, I'm worn out. I don't really want to be working out right now, honestly. I want to be laying in my bed. And she was just talking about that same thing, that oxygen to the brain, like kids, everyone learns better when you get that blood flow going and everything. So I mean, it just makes sense. I'm not surprised I don't do it more often. It's kinesthetic learning and everything.
Yeah, I feel like my kids sit so long.
Mama, can you give me a cup of milk?
No, not right this second, honey.
Thirsty.
Okay. Well, I may have to walk away for 2 seconds to get my child a cup of milk. While I start talking about how it's beneficial.
Okay.
I love that.
Speaking of children, I'll be right.
I love that. That's so
I'm
funny.
thirsty.
Hi.
Hello, Ollie.
Hello.
So we did talk about, or she mentioned earlier about the beneficial and how on the butcher paper they got it quicker. And I think it just goes back to different styles of learning.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much like it was pretty straightforward. Like that question, I'm like, oh yeah, like movement, like using movement when you're teaching, like to help kids learn.
Yes. Which, thinking back on it, I'm like, man, we've never really learned anything through movement. But I
Yeah.
do remember, like, in science class when we got to actually hands-on, how much easier that stuff was to learn.
Yeah.
Is Ollie good?
She's good. Mom, I'm so thirsty. I'm like, you're not dying. My God. But the milk jug is heavy, so I didn't want her to get it herself and try to pour and it go everywhere. So I was like, okay, probably better I just. Oh,
She said hi to us. She's like,
I know. She's such a mess. And she's got like blue stuff all over her face. I'm like, what did you do? Oh, I have no idea. Who knows? Who knows? She's like,
so then, how can kinesthetic learning be beneficial for students? Which I feel like we kind of went over that too. But I don't know if y'all wanted to add anything more to it.
Not much more.
Because they
Just
get their energy out, and it's like they get
they get to do
up
something
soon.
different.
yeah, do something different, and then it's just proven to retain more information because your oxygen levels and your neurons functioning and the excitement of it and everything. And I wrote that lessons behavior issues, but if some kids can't handle the excitement of it, it possibly won't lessen behavior issues. But I think as long as it's not way out of control what they're doing, I feel like it could keep kids engaged, the ones that kind of just want to goof off and do whatever instead of participate.
One of the benefits in the article said
Uh-oh. Come on.
I noticed that too. And then also increases their engagement.
Yes.
I agree with that too because
Keeps those brain cells going, yeah.
yeah. All right. And then what have your experiences been with teaching lessons using movement-based learning? It doesn't only have to be math related.
Yeah, I realized that. I was like, I wrote things down that weren't math related. I hope that was okay. No, where was I get? She said just in general. So when I did vocabulary words, when I did teach reading, the kids love to play charades and guess each other. Like they'd have a list of words for the week or the unit, and they would have to eventually have a test on them. And so at some point before the test, they would have to come out. They would choose what word with like a couple kids. They practice what they were gonna act out, and then they would come act it out in front of the kids, and they thought it was just so much fun.
I feel like for me, like when I was doing my student teaching last year, jeez,
Yeah, that's crazy.
last year, like it was like we did it with phonics, with like we do the alligator or we do like the roller coaster, like or we do their arm, like where they'd be like it
Yeah.
bit like.
I do that with my own daughter, like the tapping the phonemes and
So I feel
and
like
let's-
that's why I find it kind of harder for me to do it with math than like anything else. It's like I wish we could have done it with phonics.
Well, it's really good with like basic. Like I felt like I did it really well with everything up to third grade. And then I was like, this is tricky for the upper grades. And like fourth grade, I did it naturally. Like when I was talking about angles and I'm trying to think what else I did. Fourth grade with math, but yeah, you're right. Math can be trickier. Say like clapping syllables when you're breaking up a word, so you can figure out, open syllable, closed syllable, all the different ways to decode. And then I did a lot with science. I've always found ways to incorporate with science really well. When I taught fourth grade, we would do space science. So they would always get stuck between rotating versus revolving. So I would rotating, I'd have someone be the earth, so they would physically turn, and we talk about, okay, one full turn, 24 hours, night, day, night. And then as they're rotating, that 24 hours of just like spinning on their axis, pretending they have a line on their head, they would then have to revolve around, and I'd have someone else be the sun, because they would just, and the words are so similar, and even as an adult you're like, wait, which one's which? Revolve, rotate, revolve, because and then use the word orbit instead, but because they both start with R. I remember using it a lot in fourth grade science, because it just seemed to make it more concrete for them. That's what in general movement I feel like helps. It gives them a way to be the thing, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used it in science for weathering, erosion, and deposition. I got them to like pretend like the rock's breaking and then we moving and then we're dropping. I've got my assistant principal walked in when we were doing that, and I was like, oh gosh, the bigger dude in here.
So you guys have already done that unit in science?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're doing classification now and inherited traits.
Cool. Nice.
Okay.
I'm doing traits after break. So
Okay. So.
But yeah, I feel like it definitely goes really well. I think with language, anything language based, and then I've always had an easy way to fit it into science, but trying to make myself do more with math now.
So yeah,
it's hard. Like you said, with fifth grade, it's like, okay, how do I change this?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I guess what do you think are some struggles and difficulties of implementing movement-based learning lessons? As we were, like,
I made a comment. It's not every child's learning style. Like some kids they want to be like quiet and on paper and leave me alone, please. And you're making me uncomfortable by getting me out of my seat. And like we're talking with the fifth graders, this is awkward. I was a very shy, quiet student. I probably would have done it if the whole class was participating. I would have been like, oh, well, they look like they're having fun. I'll do it too. But yeah, if it's someone who has got some issues with others thinking, less of them, or they're just more, to themselves, I could see that being hard for them. But again, you could pull that out of them. And kinesthetic is not everyone's learning style. I'm visual and auditory.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more of a movement person, but just because I have ADHD, so it's like everything I do is I'm moving constantly. Like I'm constantly moving. Like just sitting here, like I'm like moving, like fidgeting my hands and stuff. So like I do better like when I'm moving around.
Yeah, I like to move, but I also see like how some of my students think they're too cool, or they do take it to an extreme, or they're like, "Oh, why are we doing this?" I have found out they love like being the leader. So like one of the examples in that document was following the leader, and if it's just like one person says one, then the next person says two, and so on and so on. Like them being able to lead and have their own voice, they have like that.
Nice.
Oh,
And then I have a lot of boys that are a bit physical and crazy. So I could see if you don't have a good like classroom management style, it could get out of hand. With
mhm.
something that's more a physical lesson. So you got to be kind of able to reel it
Especially
in.
because boys are competitive too, like so they want to do better than everybody. Like,
Right. Right.
I don't want this to be like too short, but I feel like we're going through these questions.
I think this one is a shorter one. When I was like the questions in general, it wasn't as in depth. More of it was just like how talk about how everything's going in math. So I mean, all I
Was
can
there a
do is
specific like do they have to be like at least an hour? Like would it?
I think she said an hour and a half, but we've had ones that are longer. So if we have a shorter one, I don't think we're gonna get docked
I
too
think our
bad.
other ones can make up for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I guess where am I? Okay, we did that. Okay, as part of your unit work, we were asked to peruse.
Peruse. I love that word. Peruse.
Yep, to peruse the PDF math and movement training manual to find activities you would like to try in your own classroom. What were some activities that you were interested in trying? Were there any that you could modify to like, work with the grade level, especially older grades?
Yeah, that's the thing
Which
that
y'all
stood
could
out.
probably talk a lot about.
Yeah. That's the thing that stood out to me as I was reading it. And it was just like, and she's right. It was like 100 something pages, but I was able to, once I started to get the grasp of what it is, I was like, let me see if another like section, because I had sections, right? And so I was like, maybe that section will be more in depth. And I was like, nope, still very simple. I kept going. And I was like, next section. Nope, still very simple. So I tried to think outside the box. I'm like, okay, what can I do? The notes I took were most were for basic counting and geared toward the younger grades. I suppose any of the counting activities could be geared towards skip counting by larger numbers related to place value. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I realized when we were doing measurement conversions, when I go and talk about the movement lesson later, I had to have my kids count by not powers of 10, but like if the number was 2,000, they had to know that 10 a tenth of that was 200. So they had to go 2,000, 222. Like they had to count by division by 10 each time. And then, like that concept, some could do easily, and others, I was like, well, so you could put it with some of her fun activities, but with a more difficult concept of related to place value with bigger numbers. And it's amazing how many kids don't have really good number sense. So that would be an interesting way to see if they did. And then I wrote, the yoga ones seemed fun. Maybe fourth graders could try yoga positions that do or do not show symmetry to practice the concept of symmetry if you teach fourth grade. I know the cat's bad. She's knocking stuff over in the other room. And then for the number mat ones, which I feel like wasn't that in the Dr. Susie one? Maybe that wasn't in the PDF, but like
I think it was in both.
okay. Only jumping on prime numbers. So that's
Yes.
something prime versus composite numbers. That's something that's older grades. And then Simon says using the hundreds chart number mats. I also said not sure how many students could play at once, but like something like Simon says, jump on a multiple of 3. Simon says, jump on a composite number. And again, they're very babyish, but I was like, okay, I've taught the upper grades. Surely I can think of some ways to kind of like gear it toward. Those were the ones that came to my mind.
I struggle with those too. One of the things I was thinking about is like for the number mats, for some of them, it's only like a few people can do.
I
Like one was like zigzag around the room, and I was like, okay, I do like this concept, but it might be like jump side to side, not zigzag around the room. Because if you have 25 students just moving, it's a lot.
Right.
I like the multiplication media where it's the floor mat and they had to jump on different multiplication facts. I think it is a great way to show patterns in multiplication as well. And then I was thinking about ways to do fractions with it, and I did like the tiger twist. So like it was touch your right arm to your left foot. That's 1, 2, and like go different movements, and you could do like 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then 4/4, like straight up and down or something like that. But just do different movements for however many you are splitting it up as. That's the best I came up with. I was like, oh.
But it was like, I gotta think outside the box here because these things are they seem more simple. Be curious to see
Yeah.
what other upper grades teachers would think.
Yes.
I was still looking through it like just today because like there was so many articles to go through.
It was there was
And so little time, especially when this article is like practically 100 pages.
I know it is a lot. She
So
does
it's
get
like-
a lot.
But I did like all the ideas because it's like it was nice having it because then like okay, cool, I have some ideas of like what I can use and what's practical in the classroom in my classroom.
I did realize because she's like they talk about all these mats and stuff, and I was like, "Do you buy these? Obviously, someone makes them, surely." And then I was like, "People can make them out of butcher paper." Okay, I did that. The butcher paper gets destroyed like real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it gets all ripped if they step
The
on
amount of
it.
time I took into drawing this physical large place value mat for my kids to do their lesson on, it got tossed after one lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe getting it laminated it would be better, but I was thinking you would probably have to invest in. I mean, like the ones in that video with Dr. Susie, like those were nice quality, like thick, almost like rubberish kind of mats that probably cost a lot of money. But they were like, "Oh, you can just make it yourself," and so I was like, "I'll try." And nah, that out of butcher paper, just letting you know right now, it's
Yeah.
good for the lesson, but maybe not to continue to use across the like multiple times.
I actually like. I'm just looking at this like the crunching count for me at least on here.
And what does that one do again?
It's like you get down on the basically you do crunches, and then you do it while skip counting. So then
Okay.
like you go up and you're like say like 5, 10.
Okay. Nice.
So I think that's like
I would definitely get their blood flowing if they got them actually doing crunches. My goodness.
and that
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So that could be something I could implement maybe during their like hopefully they have gym next week because maybe I could like have them just do it for like even if it's not that long, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and really
it's not even 5 minutes, just like enough to like have them understand the purpose of it.
Yeah. I was thinking PE teachers really should incorporate as much as they can, like
Well, the thing is, it's like they have issues with it. Like they don't understand our kids.
Do your kids go to your specials or whatever you guys call them
with so like we
class?
selected a teacher, like a upper grades teacher that like will bring our kids with to their specials with them.
Yeah, that's typically what we did at school at Pryor when we had more self-contained classes. Our school here doesn't have very severe special needs. We have most are co-teach and a few are resource. We don't have any self-contained. Well, no, that's not true. We have one self-contained class, but I swear they live in their own hole in the and they're younger. They're like pre-K self-contained or something.
Yeah.
There's one other school in the district that has most of the SPED population.
Yeah, or maybe I could just have them do it during recess too, because like they go outside anyway.
Yeah.
I can do it on the swings too, like as they're going like up and down, like.
Yeah, sure can.
Like the up and down, that's like one, like up is 1, 2, so then like up, down 2, 4,
Yeah, yeah.
I looked up how much those mats cost. It's like $200 to $300.
Yeah, same.
I could make.
I knew. I was looking at the video.
I'd rather use butcher paper. Like, it's free.
Yeah, 100%. Unless you got like a charter grant or something. Like I forgot what grant. Who it's from, I don't know, but our principal was like, you need to use this grant money up, and because we need more math manipulatives to be able to do some of these math units that they want us to use through the DOE. And so I made a whole list of certain things that we need, which is great. And then we applied for some Amicalola, something or other. There's always so many charters and grants. You just have to like put the work into putting it together. And we got approved for it. And we got all this stuff for like dissection of all these different kind of animals for when we do classifying organisms. So if you apply for grants, you sometimes can totally get them. You just have to find the thing you really want and give a darn good reason why you want it. But I feel like you could use grant money for some of those mats and they would last a long time. But I tried making mine out of paper, and I think I made a comment because it said, if you didn't find anything useful, explain why. And I was like, how do people keep these mats if they're handmade from being just ripped up so easily? what else did I wrote that I'm not a fan of hallway math. My kids already do so much. So that one of the strategies through the
Mhm.
that PDF was things they can do in the hallway as they transition. And I was like,
I
my
feel like
kids
this.
already do so much in the school day, and then they already struggle with hallway behavior.
Mhm.
And I can't imagine trying to get them to try to do certain things as I'm just trying to get them to the next place.
Yeah,
But I could see with how slow through the hallway kids in pre-K through second grade, I could see how it could be applicable, like line
what
up.
like what
Um,
I've seen teachers do when I'm like going down the hallway. I'm frozen, but anyway, what I've seen teachers do like when they go down the hallway is like they have flashcards and they'll be like they'll ask their class like 5 times 2, and then their kids will like answer like as they're like walking to like the buses.
yes, yes. There's ways to do that, or like to the water fountain. Yeah, you're right. But that's not really physical as
I mean
much as it is
that's
just like
easier
finding
said
a
than
way. Yeah, that's just like I've seen that too. Yeah, like finding a way to just sneak it in whenever you can.
done.
Um,
I hate that I'm frozen right now, like at least on my screen.
oh
You're
no,
not frozen.
you're not frozen on this part. You're good.
Okay, so then I have no idea what I look. Okay, cool. Awesome. Anyway, okay. So then let's see. And then math and movement assignment, which is the lesson that we have to create.
Yep.
It says so depending on where your peers are on their assignment either. So then it says that we have to like to spend the rest of the time as a group helping each other brainstorm ideas for the math and movement assignment. And then like brainstorm ideas about what you can teach and how you can teach it. Which I can't give y'all advice on that because like I'm on the other end of especially being in the special education classroom, so it's like
I know. And then I was like, for those who already have ideas, sorry, I already have it done because again, I'm not in school next week.
like
I am leaving to the beach.
yeah.
But Livy, okay, so you're doing a great idea, and you don't. It's not stealing ideas, but if you like use Gemini or ChatGPT, and you just say, okay, so you still sticking with common denominators? You think?
Yes.
Okay, so common denominators using kinesthetic learning. And then for one of mine, I wanted to include that cross lateral movement.
Yes.
And so to get my juices in my own brain flowing, that's where I kind of started. It was like, give me some idea how I use this with upper grades. Let's see. But my thought was, yeah, that multiples jumping thing that I did. Like this one pops up. The multiples walk in touch. This activity helps students visualize and feel the relationship between multiples. Create 2 parallel lines on the floor using tape, each representing one of the denominators you're working with. Example 3 and 4. Write the multiples for each denominator on separate pieces of paper and write them in order and put them in order along the line. So 3, 6, 9, 12, like kind of like I told you. Watch it be like literally the same thing I came up with, which would be funny. I'm going to be AI from now on. Have students walk along the line, stepping on the multiples as they say them aloud. And when they reach the common multiple, then they cross the midline by touching the number on the opposite line with the opposite hand. They're touching the 12 when they're on the 4 line with their left hand, and so they're doing it themselves on 2 lines.
Okay.
Well, and so when they find the one they have common, they cross almost like Twister. Oh, that's fun.
That is fun.
Oh yeah,
this one's called the Partner Multiple Pass. This collaborative game reinforces the concept of multiples and common denominators through teamwork and movement. Students work in pairs. Each pair has 2 different colored balls or objects, each representing a different denominator. Partners stand facing each other a few feet apart. They take turns saying a multiple of their assigned number and passing the ball back and forth. For example, 2, pass, 4, pass, 6, pass. The second student does the same thing, but with the number 3. So 3, pass, 6, pass, 9, pass. When they reach the common multiple, like 6 in this case, they both shout the number and either switch balls or perform a cross-lateral movement like a high five across the midline. This shared action physically demonstrates the commonality. So I like that with because you're finding something common between the two. So you're like, 2 people working together and a ball. I like the idea of a ball.
Yes, me too. They love playing anything with a ball.
And this one, the third like idea they gave was called human number line and hopscotch. This activity turns the abstract concept of a number line into a dynamic physical representation. Draw a long number line on the floor with chalk or tape. Write the denominators and their multiples at their respective positions. Students start at 0 to find a common denominator for 2/3 and 1/4, for example. One student hops on the multiples. It's almost like the same kind of, they're all similar things.
Yeah, they are.
While another student hops the multiples of 4. When both students land on the same number, 12 in this case, they both do a cross-lateral star jump or a windmill to celebrate finding the least common denominator. I just was like, let's see what you can do to include the cross thing, the midline part with it. So that's why it feels like it's forcing that part. But it is similar to the thing I came up with.
It is.
But yeah, AI, I'm telling you, just to get the juices flowing sometimes is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope maybe we'll have a little bit something different next week.
Mhm.
So I'm not doing 2 lessons that are so similar.
Yeah, you'll have to think. Yeah, you're right. I need to pull up my lesson plan so I can tell you guys what I did since I'm already done and it's turned in.
Oh, how long does the video have to be again? Like for
It's not a video, it's pictures. Oh, the video of this?
Oh, not this. Oh, so it just has to be pictures.
Just pictures. Although one of my coworkers
Ooh,
was taking
okay,
videos of me doing it, and I was like, I really don't need videos, thanks. And then I had my student teacher taking pictures of me, and I was like, okay, you guys need to you need to calm down here. You're making too big of a deal out of this.
It's like it's not that fancy.
I know they're making me feel so.
Because it makes it
yeah.
so much easier. Because I feel like if the kids saw like my phone recording, they'd be like, "What's that?" Like they get too distracted. If it was a picture, they could say, "What's that?" and then it not be in like a video.
No, yeah, it wasn't a big deal. One of the pictures, and if they asked, I was like, "I'm in school, smile," or "You guys look like you're having fun."
like-
You could be like, "You guys look like you're having fun, smile." You know.
It's like,
Yeah.
or like if you're videoing, you can be like, "I can send this to your parents, so you better be." That's what I did because I was one of my placements. I was in 5th grades, and I had to video like my lessons, and I would say that I'm videoing this, so it's like you gotta be. I'm like, I'm gonna send this to your parents.
Yeah.
It was always, and then they're like, "Oh, okay."
That's the template. That's where did I put the right? Turned it in.
Okay, so then
I think at this
so-
point we just give ideas to each other, or we talk about if we've already.
yeah.
And I'll find it in a second. There it is. Math and movement lesson. Is that the template or is that the one I filled out? No, that's her template.
Okay, you're gonna do a song, and what's your other one you're gonna do?
Anna, did you hear her?
Oh, sorry, no. What was it? I'm sorry. What did you say?
What are you gonna do for your math and movement?
Probably one of them for the crunches with the skip counting.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what to do for the, adding within 20. But I'm going to talk to my teacher about that. Like, get an idea from her about that.
Yeah, I would talk to her.
Because I feel like the crunches is a little easier to like implement.
Yes.
Like, because it's just very simple. Like, hey, do crunches for like and then each time you sit up 2, 4, like
And I like the number line one you said earlier, where they
Yeah.
have to jump on the number line.
Mm-hmm.
And did she say it had to be a full length lesson? Because I set mine up like it was a full length lesson, but I feel like she said it could be like a 10-15 minute part of a
Well,
lesson.
because I was gonna say because our lessons are only 15 minutes.
Right. I feel like
Like,
I
for our
can
kids.
share my screen and show you guys what mine looks like, but I set mine up as a open system settings. Not what I meant to do.
I do think it said 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay. Oh shit.
But like, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to math and movement template. Is this it? Share. All right. Are y'all able to see? You can annotate on the screen now. Okay, but I don't see anything. It's just black. Do you guys see anything?
Oh wait,
It's just black.
It's just a black screen.
Stop presenting.
Maybe it's because you.
Share.
Maybe. Oh.
That's not it.
Okay. Did you try? You could share. Oh, you were sharing the screen, weren't you? Yes.
Window. Where's my entire screen? Okay, I'm just gonna share the entire screen. Can't share screen.
Wait, what?
I'm trying to find a way to show what my thing looks like so you guys can see. It's this one, but okay. Pain in my butt. I'm trying to remember talking about all this.
I'm sorry, I'm coughing so much today.
It's okay. There's Jeremy's going.
That's like I'm about to lose my voice right now. I'm like, this can't happen.
That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It's gotta be. It's that one, but everything's just black when I show it. That makes no sense. All right. No. Okay. I'll just read about it then. But yeah, I made mine as like full lessons, and I
Well,
totally.
because I think it said to make it so that like another teacher could teach.
Yeah,
it.
it's like super in depth, but like mine, let's see. And they didn't take honestly the full lesson, maybe 30 minutes each one, 20, 30 minutes. So I did one of them last week on multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. And the objectives were like students will be able to physically shift digits in a number when multiplying or dividing by a power of 10. And students will understand the relationship that a digit in one place represents 10 times as much as the digits to its right and a tenth of the place to the left. So the description of the physical part was students will be called to the front of the classroom and will be assigned a digit 0 to 9 to hold up across their chest. And I just had them write it on a whiteboard and then hold it to their chest. And the students will physically step onto this place value mat made out of butcher paper and separate it into place values up to the millions and down to the thousandths place. Students will be required to shift to the left or right based on whether the teacher tells them they are being multiplied or divided by a certain power of 10. So I have like an engaged with the lesson. They talk about just what they already know about powers of 10 and what happens when you multiply versus divide. And then I have the kids come up and physically stand on two spots. So I had them choose what digit they wanted to be, and then I was like, okay, I want one of you in the ones place and one of you in the tenths place. And then I would ask the class, okay, what number are they? And they'd say 5 3/10. So they were physically being the digits. And then I said, okay, well, you're 5 3/10, but I need you to be multiplied by 10 to the power of 3. And so then they would physically step 1, 2, 3 spaces, both digits. So they'd kind of stay together, but they'd each step. And then they'd look down, see on the mat where they were standing. And then they would now be, let's see, if I have 5 3/10. I said, what, 3 spots? Then they would be in the hundreds and the tens, but so they'd be 530. And so then I'd have the other kids that weren't currently standing on the mat doing the physical part of it, the kinesthetic part, doing the problems along that they were representing, but on their whiteboards. So they would be engaged. And then I switched out students so it would those kids wouldn't get bored. When I looked back on like the reflection of it, I realized that lesson wasn't as great as the other one I ended up doing later, because some of the students, the ones participating, were like super engaged and behaved during the lesson, and like they understood why they were shifting or which way to shift and what number they became. Like when they were the human digits on the place value mat moving and everything, it was great, but you can't have everyone doing it at once. So then my other thought was if I had made like 5 of these place value mats and put them in small groups to do it, and then there would be more kids participating at a time. That was kind of something that I would change if I could with that lesson.
Yeah.
And then the lesson I did this week, actually yesterday, now that I look on it, it was Wednesday. This week has been so busy, crazy. It was students are able to convert between metric units of length, like meters, kilometers, centimeters, millimeters, and how it relates to the powers of 10. So the physical description for that part. So students, my kids used a cross-lateral approach of cross marching, and I had to show them how to do this. Like you march forward, but you cross one leg as you march and cross the other leg as you march. My thought being, if instead of just a regular march, if they're doing the cross, maybe it makes their brain work better because of what the research was saying about the cross-lateral stuff.
Yeah.
This activity took place outside, and the measurement conversion ladder was drawn in chalk on the blacktop. And then the ladder that I went out and drew, I drew these prior to the lesson when they were in camp, which is like specials. So it was already done to save time. The measurement conversion ladder was like the base digit, and then it went up from deca, hecto, up to kilo, and then from the base unit down to deci, centi, then down to milli. So it had all the possible spaces it could be for metric measurement. And so if the students were told, and so I did 5 groups of these. So I learned from my first lesson. I was like, you can't have one mat. You're not going to have all the kids engaged if they're not like all pretty much doing it at once. But realistically, I wasn't going to draw on the blacktop 22 different of these ladders because they were large and it took me already a while to make the only 5 of them. So I put them in groups. And so one kid would be on the ladder doing the physical movement, and the one behind him with the peers would be figuring it out on the whiteboard, and then they would switch, and then the next kid would go. So I was able to have 5 kids going at a time doing this and then switch to the next kid. And so it was a lot more kids got to physically be on the ladder when I did it that way. But what they did is like, so if I put them on a certain spot, say I said the base unit, okay, I need you to stand on the base unit, and you're going to be meters this time. Base unit, I explained to them too, like your base unit can be meters, can be grams, or can be liters if you're doing metric. Okay, one measures length, one measures liquid, and one measures weight. So I was like, stand on the base unit. So if you're 3 meters and I want you to be centimeters, then I need you to step that cross step march. So they would have to say it out loud as they went. So they started at 3 meters, and then they would say 30 as they stepped forward because they're going by times 10 every time. So 30 decimeters, and then they take another big step, 300 centimeters. And because with centimeters, it's only times 100, so it's only 2 steps. But like for some of them, we did like times or divide by 1,000 because they were doing up to kilo or down to milli. And so they'd either cross step forward or cross step backward. And the only part that was tricky for them was the being able to count like 3, 30, 300, 3,000, or about 3,333, because I don't know, it's just slightly more difficult, I think, of a concept to like be able to do times 10 of a number and divide by 10 of a number.
Yeah.
And then we went inside, like, again, I said I did like a full length lesson. I don't think it has to be this long, so don't use me as your example when you're making yours. I was all in, I don't know. And so then we went inside, and Livy knows this, I think. Am I the one who taught you the arm stuff for the metric stuff? So when we went back inside, I was like, let me teach you another physical movement thing you can do. But the nice thing about this is you don't have to have a thing drawn on the back top. Like you can use this when you're sitting in your seat. And so I was like, if you're converting your units, to do this, you do have to know which ones are bigger, which ones are smaller. But once you know that part, you don't have to be so confused of, do I multiply now or do I divide? So if they're doing meters to millimeters, they have to know that meters are bigger. So they would say arms out wide for meters are larger. And when you go from a large unit to a small unit, if you go from large to small, you cross your hands, and that tells you what operation you're doing. You're multiplying. So then they do, okay, so I have 3 meters and I want to go to millimeters. I multiply by 1,000. So it's 3,000. And if you're going from something like milligrams to grams, I'm going from small to large. Small to large, you're supposed to see like a division sign with your long arms, and your head's the top dot, and your stomach's the bottom dot. So you're the division symbol. So small to large is any problem that's division. And that helped them a lot. Like even in today's lesson, even though it wasn't one that we had to do for the movement thing, like Livy saw me doing it last year when she was in my class. I just think something about that, and that's crossing the midline technically, right? Yes. You're here and then you're out, and you're here and you're crossed. And that's something they'll do sometimes even on their test. You'll see them just kind of like sitting there, like they want to do it like where no one can see them. They're like big, small, small, big. And so that went really well. So when it came to the reflection, I didn't feel like anything was wrong. The hardest part was just that skip counting by power, like going up by times 10 or divide by times 10.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are different enough lessons, right? I mean, they're both.
They are.
Okay, because one's like shift left and right by powers of 10. And the other one is, they're related concepts because metric measurement is powers, so I
think as long as like the standard, I guess like the objective.
They're different objectives, they're different standards, and they are similar in movement. But one was like they shifted left and right on the mat this way, and the measurement conversion ladder was outside with chalk, and it was like forward and backward steps instead of side to side. And then I was like, I threw in the arm thing too, because I was like, you know what? I don't want her to dock off points because they're too similar.
Yeah, I feel like as long as maybe like the standard and the objectives are different, it's not like, you did the same standard, but you just did different movements,
Yeah.
know?
Right.
But I
Yeah.
feel like it should be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dr. Chang, is it fine?
I know. I mean, it's submitted at this point. It is what it is. At this
Yeah.
point. I'm going to the beach. No, it's done. It's done. It's turned in. I work.
You don't care at this point.
I
You're
don't
like,
care at this
whatever.
point. I put my heart and soul into it. No, I mean, they enjoyed, and
Yeah.
and I'm now like, oh, how can I incorporate movement more? So I like these units because when they're applicable and it's like, okay, what can I use and take and realistically use in my classroom? So I do think that there's going to be times I'm more aware of it. So if you think of some good fraction ones, Livy, you have to let me know because I'm getting to fractions in December. That's when I get
Okay, I'll let you know.
kindly to fractions.
We will have covered everything in 5th grade math by December. Not really.
That's- Feels like it. God, I don't know how. Like me, I'm wrapping up measurement. I've done volume, place value, powers of 10, and measurement, and then we'll go into multiplication and division, and then fractions by Christmas, and then fractions continue. I mean, fractions is a huge unit. It's like the majority of 5th grade.
Yes.
Gosh, I hated fraction. I am so glad I don't have to teach that.
Yeah,
I'm glad that I'm just with add up to 20.
yeah. It stays simple of a it's a little bit more simple of a concept.
Some of my students are like, "Yes, I love fractions." I'm like, "Good."
I was not
Awesome.
being spoiled.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good.
Whoever
Thanks.
raised you, I love that person.
Right. Do you need any other ideas or anything for y'all's? I mean, I'm telling you, I really do think getting thoughts going using AI is not bad because
Using it responsibly.
you're using it not to write the lesson, you're using it to get your juices flowing. And honestly, I'm kind of impressed that when you first brought it up, you're like, what should I do with this? I kind of came up with the idea before AI did. No,
You are
Before AI
joking.
did.
What are you talking about?
so jump along the multiple and you'll land on the common one. And I mean, that's kind of what it was saying. So there you go.
And then you added the crossbody movement, so it's great.
So you'll
I just use it for like to come up with like, the activities and then like,
It does. I mean, it's there. It pulls from all kinds of places and research online. You just can't use it like word for word. You have to use it for.
Yeah.
It does some of the longer work for you. Just like pull the things you need. Like I'm, with my Lego League team right this year is on like the topic this year is on archaeology, which is super cool. I was like, super interested in that. But we have to come up with like a problem with archaeology, and I was like, I need something. So I was like, went on Gemini and I was like, give me a kid-friendly explanation of the current problems in the field of archaeology. And it was like, boom, 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 like 5 paragraphs of 5 main topics. And I was able to send that home with my Lego kids and be like, hey, choose the topic that all y'all are most interested in. And they chose like illegal looting and like treasure hunting and stuff. So like people like go into archaeological sites because that sounds fun. That's like Indiana Jones-ish kind of stuff. And so I hooked up with a UNG professor that teaches archaeology at the school, and I emailed her and said, hey, I've got this team. Can you be our mentor to give us more information on this topic this year? And she's like, yeah, of course. And I was like, well, they're interested in illegal, looting and treasure hunting and everything. And she's like, oh, that's definitely a big issue that archaeology has. So then I was like, well, they have to come up with their own solution to like, because you have to find a problem and then fix the solution. I'm getting way off topic. I was talking about AI, but I went back on AI today on Gemini, and I was like, can you list out all the current solutions that exist for this problem? And it was like, and knocked them all down because my kids can't already choose something that exists or it doesn't count when I go to competition. Like they can't present on something that exists. They would automatically like not go to the next level. So I'm telling you, sometimes if you just need that research put together quick, that's the way to do it. Yep.
Yeah.
I have it do it to like format stuff. I'm like, okay, this is how this should be formatted, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes.
There's so many
Like
uses.
especially when you're writing papers and you're like, okay, like how should I section it off? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. Okay. Well, Hannah, yeah, I guess just make sure that you do the form thingy. I will download. I mean, it takes a while for this thing to end up in my drive and then for me to download it into YouTube, but I'll send you guys the link tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then when we've been like, when we submit it, I just submit the link, and then whoever's the leader does the link and the extra worksheet, right? It's only that one person. That's what, because like the first time I did it, and then Livy, like last time you did it, and I guess she
Yeah.
sees it, and that counts for
So
all
you
of
could
us.
probably just send me the link, I guess. Like,
Is it supposed to be
but then
just?
again, I'm doing the.
just
But then
leader?
again, I'm doing the communities of practice thing too. So like,
Yeah, that's the template you need to do. And then do we all submit the link? Like, have you guys? This is the third time we've met. Have you
I
submitted the link
think it
every
just
time?
says that only like the leader.
I
Oh,
didn't
does
submit
all
it
of
the
it.
first time.
You did not.
No.
I didn't.
Well, then I'm just being.
That's how it goes into a folder. I've never had a class where D2L like we share a folder.
Uh huh.
I'm like,
I
oh,
don't
this
know
is
how
cool.
that works, but she sees that our names are on it, so it's like as long,
Yeah. Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And she sees
Okay.
the video too.
Well,
Right, so
I will convert it to a link and get it put over. I don't know why we've had issues with meets, but hey, as long as we're able to get it done.
That's right. I know you're more responsible than me and Hannah, but don't forget to do the literacy group meeting stuff.
Yeah, my notes are in there.
Okay. Just making sure. We're about to do ours. Don't
Okay,
worry.
perfect. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm not going to head off to the beach and forget about it. It's due Sunday anyway. I'm going to try to do as much as I can tomorrow, depending on if you guys get your questions in there. My 2 questions are in there. I think Gabby has gone and done hers some. And then
yeah.
at some point Sunday is my birthday. That's why I'm checking out.
Woo!
Yeah, I know. When I saw everything due on my birthday, I was like, nope, no, not doing that. But no, I will hop on the computer and send over that once everyone has questions in. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, y'all enjoy your evening.
Oh,
Thank
we
you.
never pressed stop recording, so I make sure to
Oh, yep.
do that before we leave.
Call is being recorded. Okay, stop recording. There we go.
Yeah,
Yep,
just
you're right.
because I don't know if it's not like if it won't.
You're right.